Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable person, my lecturer, Mrs. Yilmiati, and all of my beloved friends. First of all, let us thanks to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we are able to join in this meeting. Secondly, salawat and salam also delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightness. Okay, I'm from the 5 group. I'm Nadia Nurman as moderator and speaker 1, and Laras khairiyah safitri as the last moderator. Concept of reading. Reading is one of the most important skills from students of English as a foreign language. Being able to read as well as to write enables students to speak more communicatively, which is the main goal of language learning. One of the milestones in children's education is how and when they learn how to read. Theoretical framework. Teaching young learners. Lynch mentioned 3 characteristics of competent EFYL teachers. The characteristic is, first, young learners teachers need to have a very good language skills because they provide the main language input for children who may have limited exposure outside the classroom. They need good interaction skill in order to use the kind of activity-based and interactive method which seem most suitable for young learners. They also need a flexibility to be able to adjust their language to the children's level. Knowledge of English so they can provide feedback, and a rich knowledge of the culture so as to get children interest. Second, young learners teachers need a knowledge of how children learn foreign language and appropriate teaching strategies for teaching English so as to create interest in learning English. Third, young learners teachers need to have knowledge of children's linguistic and emotional development as this impact on their foreign language learning. Different approaches to teaching reading. First, reading is central to the learning process. To access critical information from enormous data banks, students will need to be able to read complex material with a high degree of comprehension. Second, learning to read can begin from text level, from sentence level, from word level, or from letter level. Each starting point has produced approaches to teaching reading that can be used in the foreign language classroom. Okay, next will be explained by Laras.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks to moderator. I will explain about typically class of Nadia. The first, the student or class start a story, usually based upon an experience they have had, that the teacher writes down on a large sheet of paper. The second, the teacher then reads the story to the class. This reading may be repeated several times until the children are familiar with what have been written. Third, depending on their level of ability and needs, the class will engage in various STEM activities based upon the original story, including focusing on individual words, data, or meanings of various parts. And the last, finally, the children are expected to move from the story they have dictated toward being able to read those written by others. Next, the phonics approach. The phonics approach is probably the best known and widely used method to teach reading and writing in the English language. This approach generally emphasizes teaching children to match individual letters of the alphabet with their specific English pronunciations, with the idea that if children can sound out or decode new words, they will be able to read independent. They then will be able to blend two letters together to make simple words, then three letters, then four, and so forth. The coding is the process of identifying the written words using the alphabet chord to determine pronunciations and meaning. And the last conclusion. To develop good reading abilities, all approaches should be considered. However, there is no one best approach to teaching reading, because one that works for one child may not work at all for another child. Good teachers have to recognize that children learn in different ways and require different strategies. In conclusion, there are three important points for children reading success, namely, first, innovative and suitable approach, second, effective material, and the last, parent or teacher. All these three elements are critical in order to teach all kids to read. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Finally, we are come to the last meeting. We would like to say thanks for audience for active participations. Hopefully this presentation will give benefit for us, and thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.